Hello and welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time on this channel, you are welcome. I am A.H.P. Chen. I'm an author and I also do business. Now today's video is basically for that part of my channel where we talk about, well, I share about lifestyle and also talk about real life issues. Okay, so for our lifestyle, I'm going to be replenishing, replacing certain items around my home that has finished. Okay, so because we're still in Vlogmas, okay, so today is the fourth day of Vlogmas, and for those of you who don't know what Vlogmas is basically where YouTube creators create a video every single day on their channel, okay, until the 25th of December or even after the 25th of December, okay. So we are on day 4, okay, and so I thought for those of you who may have a large family or even a small family and you may be having friends over or guests over during any of the days, during the festive season, it's very important that even if you're not having guests or family members who don't live with you in the home, for those of you who are even in your own home, it's important that you do this, okay? Because you don't want to be running around last minute in the shop looking for different items that you would need, like especially everyday items. So don't just focus on the food, don't just focus on the drinks, but also look at like other items that you will need every single day, that makes your life easier. So for example, I started with hand wash. Okay, hand wash. Now I've only got a little bit left, so I'm gonna just leave this in my kitchen, okay. But what's it called, it was in my bathroom, okay, my bathroom sink, but I'm just gonna put it over in my what's it called, um in my sink area for my, what's it called, for my what's the word, for washing hands at the sink, okay, kitchen sink. Okay, so I don't know if this is being picked up by my camera, but I got this from the local pharmacy and I like hand wash that has antibacterial in it, okay. So I got that, and let me just pop this there. But for my bathroom, okay, I'm going to be putting this, okay. So it's the Carson's Carex, okay, and it's got antibacterial in it, okay. It's an antibacterial hand wash and it kills 99.9% of bacteria, and it has a refill system, okay. But I don't really refill my, what's it called, my hand washes. I just, once they're finished, I just throw them away, okay. So yeah, but it's good that it has a refill, so if you have like soap that you can use to hand wash, you could just refill it, okay. But I wouldn't be doing that, so let me put these away. So that one, okay, because you're gonna be like, see, when you season your food, you wash your hands, and when you go to the bathroom and all of that, you wash your hands. When you finish eating, you wash your hands, especially like meat and all of that. So you need some hand wash, okay. And you don't want to be using your washing up liquid all the time in the kitchen either, so that's a great way. Talking about washing up liquid, I normally use this particular brand, Okay, well, I don't really use particular brands, but I just get washing up liquid, any washing up liquid, to be honest. And I often make it sure that it's concentrated though. So this one is nearly finished, practically finished. It wouldn't even do one wash. Okay, so I got another one, and I normally stock this up in my pantry. Okay, so that's how it is. So I'm going to put another one there. Okay, and have backup spares in your pantry, because you're going to do lots of washing, especially if you're having people over. Okay, so I have like two more in my pantry. So that is that. And then of course you have your hand cream. It's not necessarily necessary, but you know, people often ask when you have families over. They ask, you know, when they've done washing or they've washed their hands. They normally ask if you have any hand cream available. So it's good. It's not a necessity, but it's good that you have some in your kitchen. So I'm going to pop this back to my kitchen area, because I normally have this, and it's still very much enough for the festive season. And and it smells really nice. So the topic that I'm going to be talking about today is, before I put another show you something else, is how to deal with bullying. Okay, now if you have been watching social media or like the news, Nigerian news, and all of that, you'd know that there's been a recent case of a young boy who, I would say, practically got murdered by bullies. Okay, and what's it called? And basically ended up dying in the hospital. Okay, they didn't do it on the spot, but he ended up dying in the hospital. Okay, now being someone who has got like who has been in boarding school, I have an opinion on that, but that is another video on its own. But somebody who has experienced bullying, and somebody who is a parent as well, and I've had to deal with the incidents of bullying of one of my children, what's it called, I I don't take it lightly, like, and I'd advise any parent like not to take it lightly. And if you're a young person who is going through bullying, if you can't stand up for yourself, you need to what's it called, you need to let your parents know. And as parents, we need to be able to listen, not just listen to our children, but take action where needed. Okay, especially bullying is a very serious matter, because it's a case of life and death. Okay, and it because it can escalate. All right, now when I was in school, people used to take the mickey out of me, because my parents never used to come to, or my family members never used to really come for visiting Sundays and all of that. And they'll take the mickey out of you, okay? They'll make fun of you and all of that kind of stuff, right? But when I came to the UK at the age of 13, I joined secondary school, okay? And at 13 years old, I joined secondary school. And you know, because I'm very dark skinned, okay, people used to take the mickey out of me. They, you know, in the UK, they call you names, especially, and it's not always white people, you know, it's not always white people, it's also black people of other what's it called, ethnic backgrounds. Okay, so they used to call me Blick and all of that, which means dark skin basically. And before it got to that level of being called Blake, they used to just um, take the Mickey, make mockery of my accent. Okay, make mockery of my accent, saying, why do you talk like that? Say that again. My accent has now picked up London accent because I've lived here for such a very long time. But I used to have a Ugandan accent, okay, because I'm Ugandan. Although I live in the UK, I'm Ugandan. Okay, so I used to say door, like how with a Ugandan accent, and and they used to, make mockery of my accent. And one day, like the first day they did it, the person who did it to me, the first student who did it to me, I was like, at least I can speak English, okay? At least I can speak and write English. Can you even write your own like your own language? Can you even write properly? Okay? And furthermore, can you write and speak my language? No, you can't. Okay? So with that, they knew that they couldn't approach me anymore, because it's true, like some people, they can't write good English although they're English. It was an English person, who an English student who said that to me, okay, trying to make mockery of my accent. All right, so that stopped. Okay, they stopped right there and then. Like they stopped name calling me, okay, or mocking me, sorry. And then other people, like, other black girls, because it was an all girls school, and they started calling me Blake and all of that. And somebody even went to the level of offering me bleach to bleach my skin. They're like, why can't you just bleach your skin? And I was like, no, I don't need to bleach my skin. I actually like my complexion. And then you know um and then the English students, they joined in, and they're like, you're Blake, you're this. And I was like, you're calling me Blake, but you're the one who sits in the sun, you know. You're the one who sits in the sun to try and get like the same complexion as me. At least I don't have to sit in the sun, okay, to get a tan. All right. And and then to the person who offered me bleach, I was like, no, I don't need to bleach my skin. I'm actually okay. I like my skin. Okay. And that is something that I've always maintained. Like, I love my skin, and I'm not what's it called, I don't have inferiority complexion about it. Like, if you're gonna talk to me about the color of my skin, I'm gonna like respond to you, but it's not something that bothers me because I like my complexion. So that's how I dealt with it, and they ended up stopping. Okay, and then it stopped. Like, it didn't escalate, but it could have gotten worse. Okay, now when I was in school, like when I was in Uganda, um what's it called, like I said, now I'll go into that video another day. But now, as a parent, okay, as a parent, my daughter like started attending primary school, and she was in reception, and a girl, older girl, um started calling her names, like name calling her. And for me, I teach my children, both my children, like, don't name call people because it's not nice. And personally, I don't name call people, and I don't like to name call people because there is implication, like, because you don't know how that person's gonna feel. Like, you're gonna hurt their feelings by name calling them, okay? And it could escalate to even them becoming depressed or becoming suicidal, and all of that. The impact of just name calling, even as jokes, like, you shouldn't even make jokes about like people name calling them, like, as a joke, okay? And so my daughter came to me one day, and I was like, and she was like, oh, these girls were calling me this and this and that, right? And I said, okay, no problem. Do you know who they are? And then she was like, yeah. I was like, tell me their names. And she told me their names, and I was like, are you able to point them out when we go to school? And then she was like, yeah. And when I went, I dropped her to school, and I was like, okay, don't worry, you're not in trouble. Thank you so much for telling me, okay? Because they shouldn't be name calling you, and they shouldn't be picking on you at school, okay? And And I was like, did you do anything to them? She was like, no. And then I said, did you tell the teacher? And then she said, yeah, I told the teacher. And I said, what did the teacher do about it? She said, oh, the teacher didn't do anything about it. I was like, okay, no problem. I said, did you talk to the girls and tell them to stop it? And then she was like, yeah, I told them to stop it, but they didn't listen. And I was like, okay. So the next day I went to school and she showed me the girls, and I went up to the girls and I said, were you name calling my daughter? My daughter said you were name calling her, yeah, and it's not nice, okay? Make sure you don't name call her, because name calling anybody, not just her, but name calling anybody is not nice, okay? And you need to stop it. And if you continue name calling her, I am going to speak to your parents. And not only am I going to speak to your parents, but I'm going to talk to the school, okay? Now, your class teacher, and I'm going to talk to the school, okay? I made sure that they heard, and then they were like, okay, we won't do it again. And then I went to the school reception and I said, listen, my daughter said that so and so were picking on her during playtime, and she told the teacher, and the teacher did nothing about it, okay? And I've spoken to those children and I've told them not to do it again. If they continue to do it again, and my daughter tells me that the teacher has not done anything about it, and you, the what's it called, admin team, don't do anything about it, I'm going to confront the what's it called, the child's parents, the children's parents, okay? I'm going to speak to them, okay? And if nothing is done about it, it's going to escalate further. They're like, oh, we'll make sure that something is done about it. I never heard anything. And then when my daughter came back home, I asked her, has anything else happened? Have they done anything to you? She said, no, they don't do anything anymore. They don't call me names anymore. And I was like, that's good. But imagine if she told me that and I didn't handle it in any way. I didn't make her know that she could talk to me, or I didn't let those children know that there was someone who can stand up for my daughter and approach them and deal with it. They would have continued doing it. And if I didn't let the school know, the school would have just kept like nothing happened, okay? So it's very important that, one, you deal with it. If you're an older student, like, and you're able to stand up to the people who are bullying you, stand up to them. But even in your standing up to these students, let your parents know, let the grown up in your life know that people are calling you names, or people are trying to beat you up, or people are taking your things and all of these things, okay? So that you're not like by yourself, like suffering in silence. And also, as a parent, when your child comes to you and tells you, it doesn't matter how small it may look, deal with it. If you can't, obviously, I personally wouldn't approach the children anymore, but I would literally go and approach the school, and I'd approach the children's parents, okay? If it ever happened, thank God it has never happened again, but in case it ever happens, I'll just approach the the child's parents. But even amongst parents who are friends, like if you're friends with somebody else and you both have children, and your children, like, they fight each other, they pick on each other, they name call each other, like, as a parent, address it. Like, don't just allow it to continue happening, because it's not nice. Like, it's not nice seeing another child beat up another child. It's not nice, and it shouldn't be celebrated. And don't advise your child to beat up the other person or to name call the other person back. Like, don't advise them to do that. Like, deal with it in a way that it doesn't cause them to fight other people, okay? So again, like my daughter, it was a scenario where I was in this there was a situation where my daughter, like, every single time, like, we were in this particular home, like, she would get beaten up, and get, you know, pushed or bit or scratched, or and then I was just looking at the parent first of all, and I was like, no, don't do that to so and so, don't do that to so and so, like stop it, you need to stop it. And this child's parent was like, ah, yeah, my daughter, she's a fighter, she's this, she's this, she's that, she's that. And I'm like, but are you gonna tell your child to stop it though? Because it's not nice, it's not something that you should actually be proud of. Like, you shouldn't, because those are the first traits of somebody who will escalate it and become like a bully if you don't cut it off like from young. Okay. And this person was continuing, and I kept telling the child, and the child just didn't care, would keep doing it. And obviously, because the parent wasn't addressing it, and it was like reinforcing it. And for me as a parent, I would never let my child change to suit your child. Okay, like what I have taught my child not to do, I wouldn't allow them to do it just because your child is doing it. So they're like, oh, she should stand up for herself. I'm like, no, she was not going to beat up your child, because if I teach her to beat up your child, she's going to do it to somebody else, and it's going to get worse, right? Guess what? I removed us from that environment. And then it was like, when it's only when this parent noticed that we're no longer in their environment, that they were like, oh, let's talk about it. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to talk about it. Like, why should it keep happening, and me addressing you, and I've already like let you know that I'm not happy with what is going on, because clearly my child can't be crying every time she's around your child. Okay. So it's very important that you don't reinforce negative behavior. Okay. um and also you stand up to bullies, and you also address bullying, and that is that. And then now the next thing is basically what's it called, shower gel or soap. Okay, so we use this one. I don't know if my camera is picking it up, but it's a body wash. Okay, it's a baby wash and fragrance. Okay, it's for people basically with sensitive skin, and also suitable for people with eczema. Now, we have my son has sensitive skin, so he doesn't use soap that is fragranced. So that is why I normally have soaps like this. So this is basically from my business, okay, my online store. So we've started using it since we moved home, and we started using it. So yeah, it's Child Farm. You can get it from your pharmacy, or you can get it from super drugs, you know. Asda does them as well. So yeah, you can get them, or any other what's it called, soap that you'd like to use. So make sure you have quite a few bath soaps, because you have different people who come to your home with different needs, especially over the festive season. So yeah, I have a few backup. Like, this one is finished, so let me put this in the bin and then put this in the bathroom. I basically had to wash my hands because I just cleaned my nose. But that is it, guys. It brings us to the end of this video, because I don't want it to be any longer than that. But if you have any, you know, any input how you deal with bullying, let me know in the comment section, and what advice, you know, you give to our parents. Let me know in the comment section. But other than that, have a good night, because it's evening here now. And have a good night, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye.